Hello everyone, it is Douglas E. Welch and it's time for another container garden update. I had focused on in the past, I'd been talking about what I called the frugal lettuce project, trying to get some lettuce to grow from the remaining stems from supermarket lettuce. Well, that's not been very successful, but wouldn't you know it, when I thinned out the butter crunch lettuce the other day, I saw that the roots were so vigorous and I said, I can't just throw this away. And so I took two of them and I just took the tops off, ate them, and then put the roots back into this pot with my nasturtiums here. And you can see right here, this one's starting to take off, and there's actually one over here in the background a little bit right here that's also taking off. There's a little more space in these pots for these lettuce to grow, and so I'm really happy to see them kick off again, and hopefully they'll grow up and we'll have some more lettuce for the dinner table. Now that said though, it looks like our summer heat has finally got us. If you look at this butter crunch lettuce, it is bolting to high heaven. You see it starting to throw up the seed shoot there. It'll flower probably at the top there before too long. So definitely we have to have some warm days, and it looks like perhaps that we finally reached the period of the summer where lettuce simply isn't going to be a viable subject anymore. Now the other lettuce I just showed you is in the shade a little bit more, a little cooler area, so hopefully it'll last a little while longer, but we may end up harvesting all of this before too long just to prevent it from getting too bitter to eat. Now, along with growing more food in the garden, one of the preferences my wife has had is that we have more lavender in the garden. And you can see here's our lovely bunch of lavender. This particular bunch of lavender has done very good, and it actually just smells wonderfully when you walk by it. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take some cuttings of some of the more vigorous stems here and probably take about 8 of them, and we're going to take those back to the potting bench and pot them up and see if we can't get some more starts from this to fill out more areas of the front garden here where it is sunny. And finally, for my own edification, I'm actually going to come up to our nearly 17-year-old geranium plant here. And some of these trailing vines, I don't look very good. They need to be cut back to hopefully bush out the plant a little bit. Anyway, I'm actually going to come in and take, let's see here, one, let me see, right above the node, I guess, right? 2, and maybe, say 3 here. We'll take these 3 stems and we're gonna make those into various cuttings and pop those up as well. I would love to just continue to have this geranium grow forever, as long as we live in this house and perhaps even beyond. And as I've often said in the past, 17 years is a long time to keep one plant, and I hope to keep it for many years longer. And here we are back on the potting bench again. We've got 3 reused pots here suited up with some potting soil. We got our rooting hormone, we got some plastic bags, and we have some chopsticks as well here, and I'll show you what we're going to use those for in just a minute. First thing I want to do is open the rooting hormone up, and let's start with the lavender here. So if we take the lavender, you can see it's got some pretty flowers on there. We'll actually maybe pop those off and take those inside, and what we're looking for are these woody stems, just like you see here. This woody part, and what we're going to do is I'm going to strip the bottom leaves again, maybe thin a few off the top too, just to keep the evaporation down, and I think I'm going to trim him off just a little bit more. Find a node there, a leaf node right there. That's where the roots are going to form. If they do form at all, we're going to tap that into some rooting hormone and simply stick him into the soil, firm him up. Again, we'll water these in when we're done. Let's see here. There's a more herbaceous leaf here. I'm gonna try that just to see if I always heard that woody stems were better, but let's try one of the herbaceous stems. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not going to hurt us any. It's too small to use, and that's a little flower stalk. We'll take him off, and then take him and again pull him back to some exposed leaves there, some rooting hormone. Put him down in the soil and just continue on much in the same fashion. It looks like we got one here. Take that flower stalk off again, and rooting hormone, and so on and so forth. So that'll be our lavender. I have a few more of those to do. We'll do in just a second. And then here we have our setup for our geraniums. And now in this case, we can actually take things that aren't leaves actually. So we're looking for the leaf nodes on here because that's where the roots are going to come. So I see one here and one here. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take him off right here, and that'll give us a nice leaf node right there. Again, we'll dip him in the rooting hormone over here and put him in, firm him up a little bit, and we're going to pull the leaves off of this part and make him a whole nother cutting. Maybe we'll leave one or two leaves at the very top here. Him in here. I'm going to put 4, I think, in each pot. And then what I'm going to do is, this is a perfect use, by the way, for chopsticks from your local Chinese takeout or whatever, is we're going to put a chopstick in the middle, and we're going to take a reused zip top bag. We reuse our bags quite a bit in the kitchen, but they do eventually kind of wear out. So these are perfect. We actually just put them over the pot, and the reason the chopstick is there is to keep the bag from, touching the plants themselves. There we go. This one works a little bit better because it is not a fancy bag with the little zipper on it. But there we go. And the chopstick will keep it from actually laying on the soil, but it will help to keep the moisture in this pot while it gets roots. So hopefully that'll help a little bit too. I'm going to do the same thing with the lavender, and I'm going to do the same thing with our second pot of geraniums. And finally, something I've been meaning to do for a while, finally get some labels on these darn pots. I have to remember what's in every one of them, and frankly, as most of us do, we don't actually remember too much. So we found these popsicle sticks lying around. I knew we had some from an old school project with my son, who's now 15 and not really doing popsicle stick projects anymore. So we're just gonna start to label some of the plants on our pot. This is the jacaranda. We got 3 jacaranda trees out there on the potting bench, and now we have those. That's a pink geranium from the pot up front. We got lavender from the front garden. So at least this will get us started to getting some labels on the plants that are on the potting bench, so I don't totally forget what I've done already. That's it for this episode of Container Garden Update. I am Douglas E. Welch. For more information, you can always visit the website douglasewelch.com. There you'll find a gardener's notebook as well as links to everything else that I do, including career opportunities, my word, technology IQ, and new media interchange. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please click that like button on YouTube. It really helps people discover my videos. It helps me out. It keeps me producing these videos for your entertainment and other people's entertainment as well. Remember, I don't classify myself as an expert. I'm simply another gardener out there trying to figure all this out. Until next time, keep digging.